start the fight, breaking down the walls in the dead of night. I don't come for peace, I come for the storm. Fanboys melt quick when the truth gets warm. All content's high, I'm collecting those tears. Just got started, but I'm cutting through fears. I'm not here for brand deals, I'm not for sale. I expose your lies, rip off the veil.
Well, folks, isn't it funny how the narrative magically changes depending on who's winning? When the Switch 2 was crushing the PS5 in Japan, you couldn't walk 2 steps online without seeing Nintendo influencers pounding their chest and bragging about those sales charts like they personally built the console in their basement. But the second the PS5 starts gaining momentum and outpacing the Switch 2, suddenly the script flips overnight. Now it's all excuses. Some are saying, oh well, Switch 2 supply is tight. Oh, this week doesn't count. Oh, Sony is only ahead because of temporary demand. They go from acting like sale numbers are the ultimate proof of superiority to pretending sale numbers don't matter at all when they stop favoring Nintendo. It's wild how fast the confidence disappears when reality isn't on their side anymore. And that's the difference between genuine fans and corporate defending fanboys. When things are going great, they cheer it like it validates their entire identity. But when the tide turns, they scramble for excuses instead of facing the facts. Here, check one out right now. We got none other than Player Essence. But before we get into it, please hit the like button and the hype button as well. It really helps out small channels like mine to be able to stand up to greedy corporations and the toxic influencers.
Let's see, it seems like PS5 can sell more than Switch 2 in this holiday. Yeah, because it had a discount. It had a discount on there, so people were definitely snapping up the PS5's this holiday. But it doesn't really matter what sells more. That's irrelevant. That doesn't matter to me. As long as they both sell good, that's fine. Switch 2 is probably going to sell pretty decently this holiday.
And now listen to the latest excuse. The only reason the PS5 is selling more is because it got a $100 discount. Oh really? Now price matters. Now discounts suddenly invalidate sales. Where was that exact same energy when the Switch 2 launched cheaper than the PS5? Where were those accusations then? You had no problem bragging non-stop about Japanese sales when the Switch 2 held the lead. You treated every chart like it was a holy document proving Nintendo's internal dominance. But funny enough, you never mentioned the massive price advantage the Switch 2 had over there. For months, the Switch 2 was over $200 cheaper than the PS5 in Japan. That's a gigantic difference. But did you bring that up even once? Of course not. See, when Nintendo benefits from a discount or a lower launch price, suddenly it's justified, it's value, it's smart strategy, it's what the consumer wants. But when Sony gets a temporary deal that boosts sales, now you're twisting yourself into knots trying to explain it away. Keep the same energy. If sales only matter when they favor your argument, then your argument never meant anything to begin with. And if anyone doubts what I'm saying, the receipts don't lie, go look. But the fanboys sure love to ignore them when it's convenient.
Ramp up to 25 million report, and it does seem like, at least initially, there is some partial truth to that, because the Nintendo Switch 2 got a massive bump up in terms of shipments to Japan, selling 201,684 units of the Nintendo Switch 2, which is a huge bump over the 40-something thousand that we've been seeing. So definitely 4 times more than what we usually see overall. So that's definitely a good thing. Now, yes, Pokemon Legends ZA did do pretty good on the Switch 1, but it didn't really affect the hardware sales overall. Only 23,713 units, although that's still better than the PlayStation 5 in Japan that only sold around 12,000 units. Xbox Series looking pretty sad with 188 units sold. What does this mean overall with the Nintendo Switch 2?
See, this is what he always does. He isolates Japan like it's the only market that matters. He loves to cherry pick that one region whenever it benefits his narrative, but the moment someone brings up that the PS5 is selling more during the holidays, his entire tone flips. Suddenly it's not a real win anymore. Suddenly it's, oh well, the PS5 only did that because it got a discount. So what? That's Sony being smart. If discounts boost demand, then why didn't Nintendo set up and offer their own deals? That was Nintendo's decision. They chose not to put the Switch 2 on sale. You can't blame Sony for doing something Nintendo refuses to do. And of course, in that same video, he conveniently left out the giant elephant in the room. The Switch 2 is significantly cheaper in Japan. We're talking about roughly $315 to $350 depending on the exchange rate. That's a huge gap compared to the PS5. or the Switch 2 here in America. Price absolutely matters, but apparently only when it helps Nintendo. When the advantage flips, suddenly price becomes an excuse. That's classic damage control. Anytime his favorite piece of plastic slips even a little, he has to rush in and rewrite the story. He does this constantly. Go watch his live streams. It's the same talking point every time. Praises when Nintendo wins, excuses when they don't. Now, to be fair, right now, a lot of what we're hearing is based on early tracking and retail talk. The official holiday sale numbers aren't fully out yet, but everything we've been seeing so far suggests the PS5 is having a very strong holiday surge, and instead of just acknowledging that, he scrambles to spin it into something irrelevant or temporary. That right there is the difference between objective decision and fanboyism. Real fans can accept the ups and downs. Fanboys only accept the ups and rewrite reality when the downs show up.
And then it's going to also, sell good next year, and then it's probably going to sell good the year after that. Then once they start getting more games out, so that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how much if you sell more than one system or another. I mean, who cares at the end of the day? All that matters is that it continues to sell and they continue to make games for it. I don't care who sells more. That's irrelevant. That doesn't matter.
Bitch, please, who exactly do you think you're fooling? You absolutely care. Don't even pretend otherwise. When you were bragging about the record-breaking Switch 2 launch, you weren't sitting there saying, oh, who cares, sales don't matter. No, you were throwing a parade every single week those charts favored Nintendo, because that's where your content is. That's where the money is. Your whole channel is built on damage controlling for Nintendo, not on honesty or integrity. If you actually cared about being fair, you'd be talking about how strong the PS5 holiday performance is right now. You'd give credit where credit is due. But we both know if the Switch 2 were the ones outselling everything this season, you'd already have 3 videos uploaded and a live stream scheduled to brag about it. But no, the moment the narrative doesn't benefit Nintendo, suddenly its sales don't matter. Suddenly it's excuses. Suddenly you're above the discussion. Funny how that works. Look, I get it. There's no paycheck in being honest when honesty doesn't favor your favorite piece of plastic. It must really sting when reality doesn't align with the content you rely on to keep those views up, especially when the rent is coming due for you.
Let's see, just as long as they both do good. It's like, for example, you got 2 stores, right? One of them has 10 million in revenue, one of them has 7.5 million in revenue. Okay, they both did good, like, depending on the size of the store, right? Let's just say that was good for them. So who cares? I don't care which one sells more. As long as they both do good and like we keep getting new content, we keep getting new stuff, that's all that matters.
Does anyone out there actually believe the nonsense coming out of his mouth anymore? Sure, technically what he's saying is correct on the surface, but the context always exposes him. When Nintendo is on top, he has zero hesitation flexing those numbers. He'll dedicate entire streams to bragging about how the Switch 2 is unbeatable, how sales prove Nintendo's brilliance, how the market has spoken. He lives for those moments because they power his whole identity as the Nintendo guy. But the second another system starts performing better, suddenly he wants to play the neutral card. Suddenly it's, oh well, who cares about the sales as long as everybody is doing good. Oh, sales don't define anything. Oh, it's not important. Yeah, funny how sales don't matter only when Nintendo isn't winning them. It's so transparent, the bias isn't even subtle. It's baked into the entire foundation of his content, and that's why his flip-flopping sticks out like a sore thumb. He tries to present himself as even-handed, but his reactions tell the real story every single time. And look, I've said it before, integrity doesn't pay your rent, player essence. That's why he behaves this way. Being honest means he risks upsetting his core audience. Being consistent means admitting Nintendo isn't perfect, and he can't do that because honesty doesn't bring in the clicks he depends on. So no, I don't buy it. And I don't think anyone paying attention should either.
But yeah, I think like I said, I think that there's going to be a good holiday. People are buying Switch 2, people are buying PS5. PS5 is doing well. Everything's doing well. But like I said, PS5 got a discount. But I don't really care. I got a PS5 Pro. So I mean, I want everything to do well. I think that's like a common, I wouldn't say it's a common misunderstanding about me, but like some people think that I just want Nintendo to just sell and nobody else can do that. And it's like, nah, I want all the companies.
Well, when your actions repeatedly show the same pattern, it's not hard for people to see exactly what you are. You can say all you want that you want all platforms to do well all day long, but when you never keep the same energy when Nintendo is on top and suddenly switch to damage control the moment they're not, your behavior tells the real story. People notice. We can connect the dots. You don't have to spell it out. Your reactions expose you every single time. Now, if anyone tries to make those kind of accusations about me, it wouldn't stick because my track record speaks for itself. You won't find videos of me flip-flopping like a fish out of water just because the numbers didn't land in my favor. You won't catch me rewriting the narrative depending on who's ahead this week. Meanwhile, you love to call me a liar, a grifter, a hater, but you never provide a single piece of evidence to back any of it up. It's just empty insults because the truth hits a nerve. I've exposed you countless times over and over again. I pointed out the fraud behavior, the shifting standards, the selective outrage, and every time, all you can do is pretend none of it happened and hope your audience forgets. But trust me, they have been watching, they see the pattern, and they're starting to realize exactly who's been honest and who's been playing both sides just to protect their favorite corporation.
I want Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo to all sell. I want it to be competitive. When I was growing up back in the day, if you couldn't already tell by sometimes how I debate and how I was a competitor. I always like competing. I don't want my opponents to be trash. I never wanted that. Like, I want a challenge. I want good challenge. I want good competition. When I was playing football, when I was playing basketball, I'm like, I don't want to play against scrubs. I want to play against the best. That's how I always felt. Whenever I decided what football league to play in, where I decided to play high school football at, when I went to college, I always wanted to be challenged and wanted to be part of the best. I didn't want to play against scrubs.
If you really wanted a challenge, then explain this. Why did you invite someone to debate on your live stream only to run away the second it got real? You told him to send you an email with the topics, which he did, and instead of actually responding like an adult, picking the topics you preferred or suggesting alternatives, you immediately went on an attack. You called him a grifter and a cloud chaser. But let's be honest here. Judging by your current view count, what cloud is there even to chase? If he was after fame, your channel sure isn't the place to get it. What actually happened is obvious. You realized you couldn't hold your own against him, and that terrified you. The moment you saw you couldn't control the situation or spin the narrative, you bailed. You banned him and pretended the whole thing never happened. And then you still have the nerve to act like you love a challenge. Please, the only challenges you take are ones where you think the opponent can't talk back or won't push you into a corner. Keep pretending you're ready for debates and smoke, but the receipts show the truth. When someone shows up who isn't afraid of you, you don't step up, you run. And that's it for the video. If you truly enjoyed it, do me a favor and hit the like button, hit the hype button, share it around, and make sure you're subscribed. I post a long video every day, and I also go live Monday morning at 5 a.m. Pacific time, where I react to the saltiest fanboys around. And also, make sure you subscribe because I'm really trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I really need your help. If you really want to support the channel, consider becoming a member. It's only $1 a month. You'll get special badges, custom emotes, and of course your name shouted at the end of every video. And once that list gets too long, don't worry, I will turn it into a full-on credit roll so everybody gets their chance to shine. Also, don't forget to check out the merch if you want to rep the Vigilante Fire. And as always, until next time guys, stay vigilant. And now it's time to get into the members of the channel. We got Koros Objective, Maximilian Pegasus 88, Mad Fox 94, Dr. Downvote, Oh No It's Justin, Naria, Camaro 28Z, Piplup Stars Commander, J Wesby 65, Geezer Noob, Dustin 360, That PlayStation Gamer, Steven Rammy, Matthew Buckley, Johnny Bones Jones, Trigger is Groot, Ari Kuos, Kasaria, Vetful Zexel, A1K300, Eden Force, Pokefan, Starlight Mira, Crystal Woe, Phoenix Freestar, The More Incredible Grinlock, Ninja Pat, T-Man the Cool, Kyria Lunar, Ronin Reef 90, Shadow Dragons, Brandon Alex, Mr. Krabs, Back Edge, Nightfall Hero Academy, Vagabard, Switch Addiction, Kiwi Kalaria. Thank you so much for becoming part of the crew.
You can cry in the comments, but you won't survive. Like and subscribe if you feel that vibe. We're